morning and welcome to WyoToday Newsroom on 101.7 KDNO. I am Kevin Shields, your host this week, as Sarah is on vacation visiting some friends, a well-earned vacation for her. I hope she's having a great time. Our guest this morning is TIsha Tuttle from Wyoming Senior Citizens, Inc. TIsha, how's it going?
It's pretty great. How are you?
I'm doing fine, thank you. So a lot of exciting things going on over at Wyoming Senior Citizens, Inc., and we're going to jump right to it. But we'll get into some interesting things for you folks that'll tell you how to save some money or how to access some money and everything and anything in between. But any events or anything crazy going over at Senior Citizens?
Not at the moment. Not a whole lot of events that we have going on. We have 7 different programs under our roof, and those programs are all aimed towards helping seniors in different facets, whether you're looking for an in-home care worker, you're looking for some respite, long-term care ombudsman, Medicare assistance, or volunteer opportunities where you can be a foster grandparent in the schools or a senior companion in your community. There's different programs that all aimed towards helping seniors navigating next steps.
All right, one of the things I learned from your email is there's something called the birthday rule with Medicare. I don't know what it is. I'm not overly concerned yet, but I'm getting up there. Tell us a little bit about what that means.
Absolutely. What a remarkable way in to that topic. Not many people do know about the birthday rule, even those that are eligible for it. It's very new in Wyoming. We were the 9th state to implement it. It went in place June 4th of last year. And what that is basically the Department of Insurance's birthday gift to you.
We just completely froze up, so... All right, we're going to try this again here on 101.7 KDNO. I'm sure it's me. And the reason I say it's me is because last night I've had these systems crash on me twice, now a third time. Both other times were at Rock Springs 4 years ago for basketball, and yesterday. We're on a different version, but we're just welcoming TIsha Tuttle here on 101.7 KDNO. She's with Wyoming Senior Citizens, Inc., and she was telling us about the birthday rule that went in effect last year on June 4th, you were saying.
June 4th of last year. And what that is essentially the Department of Insurance's birthday gift to our senior citizens. During your birthday, starting on the day of your birthday, you have 63 days of guaranteed issue for your Medicare supplement plans. So for those that are already enrolled in a Medicare supplement plan, that guaranteed issue into any other company is kind of a golden ticket for coverage, because those policies can increase every year as you get older, and that birthday rule with guaranteed issue during that 63 days gives you an opportunity to sign into a company with the same coverage and a lower premium.
All right. That's awesome to know and good information for folks out there, especially as we all get closer and closer to Medicare days and things of that nature. One of the things in Riverton and where I came from in Appalachia and so many places across the country is rural access, especially to specialists and things of that nature. And people, I think, sometimes have these kind of dreams that certain things like the new hospital is going to change that. Not really. As far as, we're never going to be a town that has 5 oncologists. We're never going to be one that has 5 or 6 cardiologists, dermatologists. Heck, and it's kind of funny that people think, oh, well, that's going to happen when, you have a couple options for braces for your kids and really no oral surgeon. My child had to go to Jackson to have her wisdom teeth removed. So, but that's always a concern because we do have an older population here in Riverton. We're a good place to retire to, kind of central if you got grandkids spread out over Wyoming or all spread out over the region. But you are going to have to travel for that. So tell us a little bit about that, as well as how telehealth, which a lot of people are still a little kind of like, but when they use it, when they first have to, they're like, hey, that ain't so bad.
Yeah.
But how that's going to help, and why do we have to travel so far for a specialist and things of that nature?
Absolutely. I found it fascinating at one of our recent conferences to learn that in Wyoming, there are 2 rural cities, and that is Cheyenne and Casper, Wyoming.
Oh, yeah, we're not a city.
Yeah, any rural area.
We're a town.
And so we are considered very frontier. And when you put that into perspective of access to care and rural health care, we do travel. Our nearest cardiologist is generally 2 hours away from Fremont County in any direction. And so with that, telehealth and the rural access to that can be critical. Telehealth is great for follow-up visits or what have you. Talking about those symptoms rather than driving 2 hours to that doctor's visit, having that 4-minute conversation and then being like, yep, glad we had this chat. You're doing just fine. Keep going, and we'll touch base in another 6 weeks. That telehealth visit saves gas, especially in this economy, which is beneficial, and saves time. That telehealth is one phone call. They can do a video call. And that access to healthcare is critical for our very frontier spaces. And those on a fixed income that might struggle to be able to afford that 2-hour drive to that. That could be changing in 2027. Telehealth might not be on the docket or allowed in those situations. And that is terrifying when you have your cardiologist, your specialist, your podiatrist, or what have you, that is 2 hours away from access to care. Whereas telehealth is one phone call. You can set up that appointment and handle it very quickly. So losing that could be critical to a lot of our seniors in our very frontier space.
And since you're on the front line with this kind of information, you mentioned 2027, it might be going away. What are the reasonings you're hearing? I'm sure it's not just, hey, let's get rid of it. Is it cost? Is it a combination of nowadays? I kind of worried about it with, you can hop online and get prescribed pretty much any drug for certain things that you probably don't need to be doing. It's become kind of a little bit of Wild West online. Is that affecting it? What's the reason for the discussion of will telehealth be available in that regard in 2027?
A lot of it is they're arguing the need and necessity after COVID. During COVID, it became a huge thing and almost required because our higher risk seniors didn't want to go and expose themselves unnecessarily at the doctor's office or what have you. And so telehealth became a bigger impact. Now that that's gone, it's not as critical to have that access, but it showed in many places like Fremont County or other areas like ours where telehealth can be used for those smaller visits rather than having to drive 2 hours for a follow-up. That follow-up can be done, and those things save the doctors and our beneficiaries time, but they're arguing the necessary or the necessity of it after COVID, and that is where they're projecting that 2027 dismissal of telehealth.
Well, that makes sense. I'm guessing it falls along the lines of a use it or lose it type of thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure they're saying, hey, look, here's where our stats are. So if you want to keep telehealth, if you find it a great beneficiary, use it.
Yeah.
If you don't use it, it's not something that's going to be there because it's not a cheap venture. They're not just using, so to speak, normal phone lines. There's security involved. There's coding involved. Simply because regular phone line just be hackable. So and things of that nature. So right now it's an option. Use it or lose it.
And most providers, especially if you will be traveling to those providers for those follow-ups, etc., will offer, or if you ask, they'd be happy to oblige to avoid you having to make that travel trip. So absolutely utilize that benefit and advocate for its continuing in those rural spaces.
And it's kind of funny because that leads me to my next thing. Wyoming behaves a lot differently than other places. And some of that goes in line for, I guess, telehealth, because we talk about 2 hours. If we're sitting there in a mid-sized or small city or small town in Ohio, they're going 2 hours. Well, Cleveland's 45 minutes down the road. Yeah. Whereas here, we go 2 hours sometimes for a Saturday night dinner because you're just like, let's go get something we don't have in Casper.
Yeah.
So 2 hours is not the same. The only place I can kind of compares to is West Texas, where they just go 5 hours to go to Costco. No big deal. That's kind of the mentality here. But with that behavior difference, Wyoming's different as far as Medicare Advantage versus original Medicare. Explain to us or talk a little bit about what the difference is. What is Medicare Advantage versus what original Medicare was? What's the skinny?
Yeah, so Medicare Advantage plans kind of take all the pieces of Medicare. Original Medicare is made up of 4 puzzle pieces, if you will. 3 that are required, and the supplement plans that are very beneficial and most people do have. Those 3 pieces are A, for your hospital, B, for your medical professionals, and D, for your drugs, the do-it-yourself drugs that you pick up at the pharmacy and take home. Those are 4 puzzle pieces of original Medicare, and the Medicare Advantage plan kind of wraps that all under one umbrella and funnels it through that one company. That one company is your drug plan, your supplement, and all of it. What they have in Wyoming, the plan that we have available across most of Wyoming, is WyoBlue, United Healthcare, and Humana plays around our borders. They like the Billings Clinic or Denver, Colorado. Or Jackson for Idaho. So with those Advantage plans, they funnel all of that coverage into their company. And when they do that, they can make their own rules in some sense. In and out of network providers matters on an Advantage plan. And with the WyoBlue plan, you pay a set copay, whether you are going in or out of network. That set copay is kind of like you pay a lower monthly premium, but every time you see your primary care physician, there's no copay. Anytime you see one of those specialists, there's a copay, a set flat copay for every single visit. It's more of I'm going to pay as I use it type of plan.
Okay. And why does that matter now? There's been rumblings that the Advantage, it's gone up from $0 to like 50 some odd dollars.
Yeah.
And usually, things when they start going up like that, it might slow going up, but it's not going to stop.
Yeah.
So why is that important now?
A lot of that, the plans we had previously, especially in Fremont County, offered even lower premiums, but then you were paying 30% for any out-of-network things. So now this new plan is charging you a premium and a fixed copay along the way. So it's more of a way to cost share, if you will. Okay. There is an increase in premiums, but you're also getting an increase in access to care.
So if someone's listening right now and going, should I switch? Should I not switch? I thought it was free, but still, my neighbors say they're sticking with regular old Medicare. Mm-hmm. What are some of the questions maybe they should ask about, okay, if you ask yourself this, if you're thinking about switching, and if you answer yes, to 3 out of 5 or whatever have you, or if it makes sense, these are the questions you should be asking yourself before you make the switch and helping you determine to make a switch to Medicare Advantage.
Yeah, what a great lead into that. There are many questions that we have for our beneficiaries to ask. The first is cost. What does your budget look like? There are 2 options in Medicare that are tailored to, are we focusing on a monthly budget or a full over the year? What is our medical need? How high risk do you feel like you are? And the level of risk that you want to take with that insurance. The other very critical question is validating or making sure that your doctors that you're going to see on an annual basis are in network or at least accepting that policy. Just because they don't accept your policy, even if they don't or are not in network, you still have coverage, but you just might have to submit that claim yourself. So kind of takes a little bit of an active role in an Advantage plan, and are you willing to take that active role?
Now, of course, one of the big things that always comes up, people are always complaining about or asking questions about, is prescription drug coverage, because that greatly changes. I've got some high blood pressure, so I'm on that. that's not too expensive, especially with insurance. You know, it's not a whole lot of money compared to like my dad before he passed. Like his chemotherapy drugs were like $3,000 a pill. Take every day. Granted, there's grants out there and things of that nature. Maybe you speak to that, but you know, as y'all said in sending us some notes, a large portion of Wyoming is covered by standalone plan. I'm one of them on my wife's insurance prescription lies outside of health. Talk a little bit about that, how that affects with Medicare and Medicare Advantage, as well as just what y'all are seeing. Because, you know, it's one thing, okay, well, the doctor got that out of the way. I've got this. I've got to take this, but this is something I'm going to have to refill every 30 days, you know, because sometimes they don't. Mine doesn't accept 90, for example. They won't let it be shipped via the mail, certain things. So it's really a maze of things, and it's maybe one of the more important coverages you have, because it's one thing to find out what you have, but you got to treat it.
I always joke, A and B is what I call the government-given insurance. That's just there. The government gives you your Social Security number, and it's there. So long as you pay the premiums, you have your A and B always. The drug plan, especially if you are on original Medicare, is a company that you get to choose every single year. You get to renegotiate that contract every single year during open enrollment. Why would I want to do that? That seems like a lot of work. Now, open enrollment is the opportunity for you to kind of take a peek at what that plan is going to do in the following year. So if they're increasing their premiums by $24 every single month, if they quit covering your medications, that's your time to peek at it. And if they're not acting in your best interest of what you need, there's a company out there, and that's an opportunity to switch every single year. So their prices change, the drugs they cover change, where the drugs they cover fall into their formulary or bucket, if you will. And what pharmacies they're best friends with. Where are you going to get the best deal? Sometimes driving between Walmart or Walgreens can save you $100 a month just in prescriptions, just what you pay at the pharmacy. So that's that opportunity I encourage everyone to take advantage of. This last year during open enrollment, we helped beneficiaries across Wyoming save $2.4 million just changing drug plans. That's incredible. They're still getting coverage. They're still getting their medications covered. And across Wyoming, our beneficiaries that we helped, $2.4 million in savings. Now, last year, we had drug plans that had $0 premiums. You would find medications like atorvastatin or some of those blood pressure medications that
Mine was never free.
Yeah. There was either like a zero copay or like less than $3 for some of those generic type medications. Now we're seeing copays with most medications. And a lot of that has to do with them eliminating the donut hole, creating a coverage gap of $2,100. So once you and the plan have met that $2,100 cap, the plan is 100% responsible for your medications. So like your dad's expensive chemotherapy drugs, if they're covered, they're capped, and the plan is 100% responsible for that. So again, to curb and cost share, we're seeing a lot of those premiums and a lot of the copays during the coverage phase increasing.
Well, and I also point out the economics of things and people. It's a landman quote, and I don't watch the show very often, but seen this on YouTube countless times, and it is true. Once the price of a barrel of oil goes over $100, folks, everybody, and that means everybody. That means your prescriptions. That means the underwear you buy at Walmart. Means the orange juice you buy. Everything gets changed because everything gets here by truck. Whether it's a big truck or small truck, really doesn't matter. It's getting here by truck or train, and most of the trains that are doing freight are diesel. So, and all the trucks almost are doing diesel. So, it's just kind of where we are as far as that goes. You had mentioned when we were talking about that, every year you can negotiate. How much, just because I know people are going, is it really negotiate, or is it really, here's what they offer and I can just change? How much negotiating power does an individual actually have to go to them and go, okay, well, here's what I need and things of that nature? Or is it now all basically group plans? So, they're kind of stuck with whatever Humana or whoever offers. And of course, here, even on the marketplace, we really, like for health insurance, have one option.
Yeah. So what I like and what I love about the Medicare options is there's 11 different drug plans that you can choose from. And even this year, those premiums will range from $4.70 to $140. So one of those plans is going to cover most of the medications you take, if not all. I think I've had one beneficiary that was on very interesting medication that wasn't covered, and we found an assistance program for her. But so those plans, when you have multiple options, generally, it's not so much negotiating with the plan, it's finding the best plan for you afterwards.
All right. And obviously, financial help's out there. Everybody's going to assume, and you know what happens when we assume. We're not going to fill it in, though, because the FCC might get mad, that there's less of it. As I tell people, there's grants for so many things, as far as for businesses, stuff like that, beautification of downtown. There's so much financial help out there, but one of the things that we've always seen in our reporting is that so many people don't realize that one of the questions you put is people don't realize they qualify. I'd go maybe even a step further. People don't even know it's there.
Yeah.
So what are some ways where they can find out that, like I said, my dad's insurance, he was on Medicare. I don't think Advantage was available before he died. Insurance didn't cover all of the chemo bill, but a grant did. And he just got lucked out in the fact that the oncologist told him about the grant because he was part of the whole thing. But a lot of things are bigger than just one individual doctor, or maybe the individual doctor. He's got so much going on in his life, including his family, friends, everything off hours. He doesn't even know this because he's not a financial expert. He's not someone who does this all the time. How can people, where are the resources for helping them find where this financial help's available?
Absolutely. I would encourage them to really just give us a call. One, you don't have to know every door to knock on. That's what we do. And if we don't know the door, then we know plenty of people that know how to find it. So give us a call and we can track down a lot of those resources. If it's related to Medicare premiums, there's assistance programs out there that we can help you qualify for. If it's your prescription assistance, there's extra help that can help pay for those Medicare premiums and reduce your costs at the pharmacy. There's also assistance programs out there that we can find based on your diagnosis, whether it's chemotherapy. I had one beneficiary that had seizures and her medication wasn't covered on her plan. And so we found a assistance program for that. One of our beneficiaries was diagnosed with a type of cancer, and we found a grant that helped cover the travel expenses because we do not have an oncologist in Fremont County. So that travel goes all the way to Salt Lake. It helped cover her travel costs, her room, and any expenses related to her travel for her treatment every single time. So again, just knowing what door to knock on, and if you don't know where to start, give us a call and we can connect you to the resources we know and we have, or we can give you access to the door that you need to be at.
Excellent. I know there's people at home, because I'm one of them, who'd be like, I won't qualify. Well, you don't know until you try.
Yeah.
You don't know, so why leave, quote unquote, free money hanging around out there? It is available to help pay for prescriptions. In fact, one of the smartest things I think you can do, and maybe you can echo this or disagree, maybe I'm just wrong, is ask your pharmacist, is there a better way to pay for this? Because they will tell you, even if maybe they're not supposed to. They'll tell you. Because I've ran into period where I had a gap of insurance, and it turns out, through like GoodRx or one of the others that's not paying me to say their name, they were cheaper than even my insurance was.
Yeah.
So, it never hurts to ask. Nobody
else is going to look out for your pocketbook like you will. There's no There's no hurt in asking. If there's something out there, utilize it, because that's what's going to protect your pocketbook. No one else is going to be worried about your finances like you do. Keep that in mind.
And as my dad would say, it's kind of like when you're in junior high and you got a crush on a girl and you ask her out. Well, she could say no. Well, then you're exactly where you are right now. So it doesn't hurt. And now you know.
Yeah.
So don't leave those hanging. So as we wrap up here, anything else exciting going over at Wyoming Senior Citizens? You know, we can take pot shots at Herb.
No, Herb's great. I told him
Herb's awesome.
I told him I will work for food, and our kitchen has not been empty since. So appreciate my job and the team that I work with. We have a great team of people that really, truly cares about our community and the people in it. And if you don't know anything about what Wyoming Senior Citizens, Inc. offers your community, please stop in. We'd be happy to tell you all about it. Our office is located at 106 West Adams here in Riverton, Wyoming. Give us a call, 307-856-6880, and we can tell you all about it. There's plenty of programs, some that you might love, some you might not know exist, and some that you can really benefit from just by knowing that they exist. Even if you don't take advantage of them, knowing that they're there, you can be somebody else's hero just by mentioning it.
Well, Herb and you, I will say this, if they have an event coming up, they throw a heck of a party. Last year was so much fun. It was hot, but it was so much fun.
It was quite toasty.
It was quite toasty. And speaking of hot and looking for a way to relax as the summer heat comes up, if you're looking for a better way to relax, today's show is brought to you by Porter's Mountain View Supply in Riverton. Porter's offers quality hot tubs built for comfort, durability, and year-round enjoyment. Whether you want a place to unwind, ease sore muscles, or spend time with family and friends, their team will help you find the hot tub that fits your space and your lifestyle. They also carry everything you need to keep your hot tub running smoothly. That includes chemicals, water care products, filters, covers, steps, and replacement parts, along with all the accessories that make ownership easier and more enjoyable. You'll find Porter's Mountain View Supply at 750 East Sunset Drive in Riverton. Give them a call. TIsha, thank you for joining me. Always a pleasure. And we will see you for TIsha Tuttle. This has been Kevin Shields. We'll see you tomorrow when we're joined by Game and Fish here on WyoToday Newsroom on 101.7 KDNO.